Ghost of Tabor, Ghost of Tabor. It's all I've been hearing about lately, so I decided to check it out for myself. And let me tell you, as hard as this game is, it's fantastic. But it's not the kind of game that you just play for an hour and you get the hang of it. As simplistic in nature Ghost of Tabor is, as a survival game, you'll need a lot of guidance in the beginning. And that's what I'm here for. I'll be going over a few strategic tips to get you started, as well as talking about the game's graphics, shopping, overall game mechanics, including shooting, movement, customizability, and I'll also go over some specifics on the safe house. If you have any of your own personal strategies or questions for others, put them in the comments. For now, here's what I've come up with. Okay, strategic tip number 1. Go in naked. And no, I don't mean play the game with no clothes on. I mean don't bring any gear. Now this is a temporary strategy. Once you learn how to survive most of the time, you can go in with whatever helps. Until then, you'll die. A lot. You only die once, and the raid is over. Every time you die, you lose everything you went in with. You do not get to keep what you started with or die with. So if you keep taking your weapons in from your vault and dying, your vault gets pretty sad looking, and you'll be going in naked anyway. Guns are usually pretty easy to find, but always rack that slide first. Tip number 2, this is a survival game. You must be careful to not just look for weapons. Look for water and food as well as medicine. Put these in your bag or hold them in your offhand until you need them. You also don't need to have to kill a bunch of people. It's just about surviving. And if that means sneaking around and watching others kill one another from the shadows, so be it. Tip number 3. How long should you stay in the raid? You don't have to stay the entire time. I have not yet learned when you can leave, but I've definitely left well before 45 minutes was up. So keep checking your timer on your wrist. I think you need to push it 2 times to get the raid timer. If you have more to add on my tips or just want to correct my noob statements, put them in the comments. Tip number 4, and this is important, be patient. There's plenty of time. Don't shoot just because you see somebody. Only shoot if it makes sense. There's groups, singles, AI, and you can get through as long as they don't see you. Just look for a gun, look for a backpack, fill it with stuff, and get out of there ASAP. Stay behind terrain and always move after checking high, low, left, and right. Yes, you'll get good enough where eventually you're the one stalking the people, but for now, you need to learn the game and only shoot if it means saving your life, not if it means just attacking someone else for the sake of it in the beginning. Tip number 5, and this kind of goes hand in hand with tip number 4, don't be tempted. Running out in the open for a big crate, racing to the side of a cargo drop, shooting someone that's not in the right circumstance can all get you killed. It's better to survive. Remember, this is a survival game. If you survive the raid with only one piece of junk to sell, that's better than dying and losing everything. So make sure you don't let temptation get you killed. Now let's talk about graphics. The graphics are not good. And things are janky too sometimes, like your hand gets stuck in ladders or guns get stuck in different places. It's kind of weird, but even with all that happening and bothering you, this game is still great. Whenever those things happen, it has frustrated me, but it hasn't made me want to quit playing or made me get so mad that I, throw my controller or something like that. I just kind of go, oh, well, that's weird, and then I move on. I will say this about the graphics, though. The guns graphics, they're done really well. They paid not just attention to the gun's graphics, but they also paid attention to the fact that these are the actual guns, unlike a lot of games. So if you look at a gun and it looks a lot like a Glock, that's because it is a Glock. And the only way to get ammo for it is if you use 9mm ammo. I like how specific the game is with that. Speaking of which, if you don't know your guns, yeah, you will, because you have to. The wrong magazine won't fit in the wrong gun, and this game took a lot of attention to detail to get those things right. Now let's talk about shopping. The shopping is actually really cool. There is what's called the Tabor Market. And if you go to the Tabor Market, by the way, the Tabor Market, best graphics in the game. You don't get to shoot people or play there, but the Tabor Market looks great. It's really cool. It's got all these different people from all over the world that have their own little shops set up to sell various items, whether it be guns or meds or stuff for your safe house like water filters. There's just all kinds of things. And remember, this is a survival game, so you're not just in survival mode whenever you're in a raid. You're also in survival mode when you're in your safe house. You still have to worry about hunger. You still have to worry about thirst. You have to keep your lights on by running your generator, so you have to continually get gas cans to fill that up. Survival never stops. But one of the reasons to go shopping is to get better weapons, and the higher level you obtain, the more weapons that are available to you. And reloading is a big part with shopping too. Now you can find most things in the wild, so to speak. You can find gunpowder and casings and all these different things, but if you never do find those things, you can go shopping and buy them with the money that you've earned from raiding and completing missions and things like that. And you can choose whatever missions you want every time you go out to a raid. So the game mechanics are both great and weird. It just depends on what you're talking about. Whenever they have the training goes over the shooting and the racking of the slide and all those things. At first, I got a little confused because you can't just use the grab button for everything, but I quickly realized that the reason why they make you use the trigger for magazines and the grab button for guns is because you actually get to carry your magazines on your chest gear. It really helps to be able to use the trigger for certain things and the grab button for certain things, so that was actually a very well done design. I don't have a rig, like a gun rig for my quest, but I can tell this game, it would help a lot because I'm sitting here trying to aim, and since there's no weight and I don't have a stock up against my shoulder, it's a lot harder to aim that way. I would prefer having a stock rig with me, but unfortunately I don't. The movement in the game, I'm just going to say I don't like the movement. I really don't. I feel like it's slow. Maybe it's because of the way you hear the steps in the ground and they sound slow. Maybe it's because they have a couple different customizing options for the movement. You can move based on your head or not based on your head. And I don't like either of the options. I think that the movement is not very well done. I think they could improve it, and I hope that they do. I prefer the movement in many other games. Just pick one over this. The customizability is an amazing game mechanic that they added because your chest piece, all the little pouches you have for knives and grenades and magazines, you can move all these things around, put them where you want them, and it's so realistic because whenever you're in the field, you have to actually pull a magazine out of that pouch and put it back in your gun, and you have to rack the slide. It's very realistic. I can't stress that enough. Utilizing the guns and the gear is extremely realistic. Even the surviving is realistic and not very annoying. I feel like whenever my guy starts getting tired and running out of water, I start getting thirsty because I'm like, man, he's been running forever and he's all thirsty. He's got no water. It's very well done. So let's talk about the safe house. You need gas for your generator to keep the lights on. Now, you don't have to have the lights on. You can see good enough to be able to do what you gotta do, but it is an added aspect to kind of remind you that you are constantly in survival mode. This game does not have a part of it where you aren't having to survive. I mean, if you're in the bunker and you're checking out all your gear and you're putting things on your mannequins and putting stuff on your boards up there in your vault, yeah, you're getting thirsty and you're getting hungry and your gas is running out on your generator, and there's no part of the game where your survival mode is off. You are always in survival mode, and I'm here for it. I'm personally not a big fan of survival games, but this is very well done and it's very realistic. I love the fact that if you die, that's it, you're out, because it changes the way you play. Most games just run in and shoot as much as you can. If you do that here, you're dead and you've lost everything. So I really like the way this game forces you to play as if it were more realistic and actually happening to you, or how you have to react in real life. Now, I haven't covered everything here, so cover what I've missed in the comments, and I'm not an expert on this game. I just started playing this because everybody said it was so great and quickly realized this is hard, and it's not designed for beginners. The training, although the training does a good job of showing how to use the guns, the training really does not show you how to play the game very well. It kind of just throws you out there. It's a survival game, so that's what it does. It kind of lets you on your own figure out how to survive. And I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but it can be a little difficult for beginners. So hopefully this has helped you. If not, look in the comments. I'm sure people are going to, bash me for the things I said wrong and help you with even better tips. But until then, if this game sounds good to you, I've got a 25% discount in the description. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.